Hello everybody and welcome to Lauren Loves Color. This is Lauren. I am probably one of the slowest people to do this tag, probably because I had to do a lot of research in order to actually do this tag, but this is the this or that coloring tag. So we're going to talk through some questions. I was tagged by the just amazing and wonderful DaniButtons, so thank you Danielle for tagging me in this, and I am going to do my best to speak to each of the questions here. There are 23 questions, and I thought what might be interesting or different, and just because I have a little bit of a headache and I'm not feeling my best, is to do something simple. So I am going to be coloring out of Love is Like a Rainbow, Just Add Water. So this is my Just Add Water book that literally is just taking a paintbrush and adding water to images, but I thought it might be something fun and different rather than using a traditional coloring book. So I am going to be coloring this page, and it says love is art that comes from the heart. So it's February time, and I am doing a color along that is a hashtag that is Flowers and Fairies 2021. So this has got flowers in it. So that's at least cool enough, right? That's close enough. All right, I'm going to zoom us in a little bit. Let me get my paintbrush a little wet and we will get started. So the first question is alcohol or water-based markers. Now, if you know anything about me or have seen me color anything recently, you will know that alcohol markers are my go-to. I don't really like the streakiness that comes with water-based markers. And I don't necessarily feel like I get like as rich or deep of colors with water-based markers, which can be good for some pictures if you're going for that vibe. But really my go-to is going to always be alcohol-based markers. I also have quite the collection of alcohol-based markers, so that is my love. Next is going to be Jade Summer Grayscale or Jade Summer Line Art. That is also fairly easy for me. I only own Jade Summer Grayscale. Well, I guess technically own Line Art because I have their color by number books, which I do love those, but I have branched out a little bit, and I do have my 100 Chibi Girls Grayscale, which is a collection of 4 of their books. And I have gotten to really love and enjoy that book. And so I am definitely going to say that I am really loving and enjoying the Chibi Girl Grayscale. I think they do a really good job with their grayscale. But if their color by number books were allowed and considered their line art, then I would say line art, because I do still think my heart and soul belongs to color by number, and that will always be my go-to. Next question, Prismacolor pencils or Polychromos pencils? That's an interesting question for me because I'm not really a colored pencil person. However, I actually do own, it's either the 150 or 180 set of Prismacolor pencils. When I first got started into adult coloring, I really didn't know what medium I was going to like best. So I invested in a little bit of everything. And so I have a good friend of mine who likes to color in colored pencils. And I knew that Prismacolors were kind of the, I don't know if you say like the elite standard or the kind of the standard for a quality artist grade colored pencil. And I kind of felt like, well, maybe if here, I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. I kind of felt like, well, maybe if I had the like quote unquote good pencils, I would really enjoy working with colored pencils. So that is what I tried. And, I mean, they're nice. Watch, you guys are probably, your jaws are dropping on the floor. You're like, what do you mean they're just nice? No, they're nice, but honestly, I really don't use them very much. I will keep them because I may use them, you know, one day or kind of get into shading. I do kind of like some people who do the combination of the marker with the shading on top with colored pencils. But right now I'm just not that patient. So I have never I mean, the one thing I don't like about Prismacolor is they are super, super soft. So I felt like every time I use them, I had to sharpen them so frequently. I think I'm a bit heavy-handed. So Polychromos appeal to me for that reason. However, I've also heard it takes a long time to get a lot of pigment. Like you kind of have to slowly build it up. So in that case, I may not like them because I'm a very impatient colorist and I like quick and easy gratification of completing something rather than it taking forever. So that's a difficult question. I don't really know if I answered that question, but I have Prismacolor, so I guess I'll just say Prismacolor. Next is Hanna Karlzon or Maria Trolle. So those two artists I'm not as familiar with. I know, pick your drop off the floor. I just don't color in a lot of the double-sided books or in kind of what I would consider, I guess, like the fancy books, the hardback covered books. And just because they are double-sided. But also the art itself doesn't really appeal to me. I would say I'm a pretty casual colorist. I like to color things that are not that artsy, I guess. And so looking at the two artists, I would have to say probably my interests are more drawn, like if I had to choose, like Maria Trolle is probably a little bit more of the like more casual style of art that I'm a little bit more drawn to. But honestly, I don't have any of their books on my wish list. I'm not looking at investing in any of their books. And so I don't know. I guess I'm just not really my thing. Color by number. Excuse me. Number 5 is color by number or non-color by number. I think we just talked about that. My love is color by number. So I will always choose color by number for that. The vast majority of my collection of coloring books, probably over 90% of my coloring books are all color by number. That is what I like. Now I am trying to branch out. You know, I'm trying to do more things that are non-color by number, but color by number is just my go-to, and I've stopped apologizing for it. I've stopped telling myself that I'm less of a colorist for only really liking color by number. I am not an artist. I am not doing this as my profession. I am doing this as a hobby, and my hobby is whatever relaxes me. So I should never feel less than or never feel embarrassed of what I like to do, you know, for something that just relaxes me. So I am going to undoubtedly say color by number is my preference. I honestly think color by number has been a little bit more, I don't know if you say like in style or just more popular lately, but there are a ton of color by number books that are coming out. And I'm seeing a lot more color tubers post about color by number. Or even as like 6 months ago, I kind of felt like color by number, it was harder to find people post, you know, images and content about color by number. So I don't know if that's just due to it being more readily available or just kind of being more of an in thing right now. I don't know. Next question. Mandalas or patterns? That is a really, really hard one. I like both. I go through phases. I will say, like, if I had to choose, this is kind of annoying because I'm having to constantly reach over the page. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna move this over here. I would have to say, if I had to choose one, I would probably say patterns. And the only reason that I say that is because with patterns, I feel like you can mix it up a little bit more. Whereas mandalas are kind of the same for the most part. They kind of go around in circles. And so I feel like if I had to be stuck with one thing, if I was on a desert island and I had to take a pattern book or take a mandala book, I would probably take a pattern book with me. So that's my answer, is patterns. Next one, double-sided or single-sided books. Well, with me being an alcohol marker person, in preferring alcohol markers, that's definitely going to be single-sided books, because double-sided books do not work well for people who like alcohol markers, unless you just really don't care about the other side of the page. This is turning out really nice. I like the colors in this one. Sometimes you don't know, sometimes some of these pages, the colors to me feel a little bit like muddy and not as like bright and watercolory. But the colors in this are nice. Okay. Number 9, Ohuhu alcohol markers or Caliart alcohol markers? Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I actually have both. You may or may not know this because you probably hear me talk about my Caliarts a lot, is that I actually own the 200 set of Ohuhu markers. I bought Caliarts first when I first got started in coloring. And when I bought the Caliarts, I actually didn't like them at first. I think what really kind of got me my bad experience was that when I got my Caliarts, I had a couple of markers that didn't work. The small nib side of them was just bad and didn't work well, and they were really scratchy. And they were my first set of alcohol markers, and I just didn't really know what to expect. And so I really didn't like them. And so I actually ended up getting because I had a hard time getting a hold of Caliart, even though they have like this little, pamphlet on the inside that says just, email us, whatever. I had a really hard time getting a hold of them. I wasn't getting a response from them. And so I contacted Amazon and they gave me a full refund. Eventually, Caliart, I want to say I emailed them back a little while later. They eventually did apologize, profusely apologize for missing my email. And they sent me, and it was like around a holiday or something for them. So they were like closed. I don't know. It was a whole thing. But they ended up sending me the markers, the replacement markers. No problem. No questions asked. Just sent them to me. And I was able to get them replaced. But since I had gotten that refund, I just decided, well, I'm just going to invest in Ohuhu because they are supposedly have this really great customer service, and they're supposedly, a kind of comparable marker. And so I got the 200 set. Now, Ohuhu has a great marker. Not gonna lie, I do really like their markers, but I have found myself using my Caliarts more for a couple reasons. Number one, they're a smaller set. So when I'm trying to work, especially on color by number, I don't need a massive range of markers. I really honestly regret as a colorist buying some large sets of markers, because now knowing that mostly what I do is color by number, you just don't need that many ranges of colors. Like honestly, like the 200 set of Ohuhus, if you have seen that, like who needs 600 skin tones when you're doing color by number? Like you don't. I mean, maybe I have a whole bunch of, I kind of look at it like maybe I have a whole bunch of backup colors for tan and beige and brown and, anything in between. But you just don't need that wide of a range. And so honestly, like when I pull out that set, to find the markers that I need takes a lot longer. It's a big chunky case. And so I just don't use them a lot for that reason. And secondly, I have found that I feel like I like the barrel of the Caliart a little bit better to hold on to for some reason. They're a little bit of a chunkier marker, but there's something that's a little bit easier to hold for me. And I also find, and I don't know how you feel, tell me in the comments below if you have Ohuhus and Caliarts and you feel the same way. I feel like Ohuhus are a slightly drier marker. Like I feel like the Caliarts are juicier. So I feel like I get sometimes, like, especially since I'm like a quick colorist, I don't spend a lot of time like blending in anything. I feel like sometimes my colors are a little more patchy with the Ohuhus. But I say that, and then sometimes I color with the Ohuhus, and I feel like, no, Lauren, you're crazy. They're just as juicy and things like that. But also some of the colors on the Ohuhus for me don't match as well with color by number books, even in with my 200 set, like the Caliarts do. So that's a really, really long answer to that question. But, sorry, my computer logged out. I need to see my questions. Okay. But if I had to choose, it would be my Caliarts. Number 10, color by number white backgrounds or color by number with black backgrounds. Black backgrounds have now become my go-to. When I first got started in color by number, Color Questopia was the first, were the first color by number books that I owned. And I really, really enjoyed on some of their more simple books doing the line art. I kind of found it relaxing, but that was also the only thing they really had available. And so I didn't mind it at all. You know, I thought it was fun to do the, you know, silver gel pen or to use, you know, glitter gel pen in coloring in the white background. But now that I've had the chance to experience the black background versions of books and like the Sun Life Drawing mosaic books and stuff, those have really become my go-to. I think when Sun Life Drawing came out with the black background mosaic books, I didn't own any of them, and I bought the just white backgrounds, and I just found that I ended up returning them for the black background version of the book because I just knew that I was going to end up liking that so much more. Okay. Next question. Posca pen or white jelly rolls or gel pen? So this question is also fairly easy for me. I have both now. I have tried both. I got a white Posca pen and white gel pen somewhat recently. I owned the jelly roll white gel pen, and I kind of found it to be a little bit scratchy, but I own this kind of, not the broad tip one, but kind of the finer tip one, and I found it to be a little bit scratchy. So I ordered, it was a package that came with the Uniball Signo white gel pen and the Posca paint pen, I think like the extra fine tip. And I've done both, and I much prefer the white gel pen. I felt like it went on smoother. The Posca pen was a little bit inconsistent in some of the paint flow from the pen, and so I found that it didn't look as even as the gel pen did. And I thought that the Posca pen would be so much more opaque in color and covering like line art. But I didn't find that to be the case. And I don't know if I'm just using the Posca pen wrong. Like, I just don't know if I'm just not letting the ink flow out enough, or what the deal is, but I really struggled with it. It wasn't horrific and awful. It wasn't a total disaster, but not my favorite. So I'm going to say the white gel pen. Okay. Number 12, morning or night coloring. Well, currently it is about 9:45 at night. I'm going to say night coloring. I pretty consistently am a night person, mostly because of the fact that my kids are not nighttime people. They are morning people. And so therefore my mornings are kind of busy and hectic. I don't really get a lot of time to color in the morning. It's only if my kids go to school and then I have time before work. And usually when my kids go to school, once I sit down at my desk, even if it's kind of before my normal start time, I have a tendency to want to just like open my computer and check my email. And then once I start checking my email, like I work from home right now. Once I start checking my email, then it's like, it's all downhill, because then it's like, oh, okay, well, let me just respond to this one email. Well, let me just, you know, hop on this one, you know, this one quick text with somebody, or, you know, message somebody. So it's never just like, I guess it's like, I feel like I get in work mode pretty quickly in the morning. And a lot of times too, I'm handling things like, maybe I have an employee that's sick, or a call-in or an email that came through last night that I have to respond to. And so my mornings are just busy. It's busy at the hospital in the mornings. Things kind of start to buzz. Doctors start to round. That's when people are handling things that came through the night before. So just more, so I'm going to say nighttime coloring is usually my go-to. Number 13, Jade Summer Chibi Girls or April Amber Chibi Girls. I don't own any April Amber books. I have seen them. I think they're really cute, but I prefer Jade Summer. I think it's just, Jade Summer has the right level of detail to me, and there's something about the eyes in the April Amber book that I just can't quite get past, that they're just not my, I guess, not my favorite style. And they're a little bit more simple, which is fine, but I think there's this delicate balance of simple and too simple. And I feel like with April Amber, I would have to be a lot more creative because they're a little bit too simple. Whereas Jade Summer, they're just kind of the right amount of complexity to where I wouldn't have to add so much to the page to make it look, really good. I also don't know that April Amber does grayscale, and I don't do a lot of line art, and I like that the Chibi Girls come in grayscale from Jade Summer. So I'm going to go with Jade Summer on this one. Number 14, Alan Robert or Emelie Lidehall Oberg. This one I had to look up. I'm not familiar with either one of those artists. And again, probably they seem to be those kind of fancier artists that are well known to many, but not really to me. And I would have to say that it's kind of a neither for me. However, if I had to choose one, it would definitely be Emelie Lidehall Oberg. Alan, where is his name? Alan Robert. I think he does a lot of like horror themed stuff. And that is not my jam. I'm not into the scary. I'm not into the horror stuff. Halloween is, I'm into like, so like when it's Halloween time and stuff, and when you guys see me coloring Halloween things, it will always be like the cutesy Halloween stuff. It's not going to be the, like scary Halloween stuff, I guess I should say. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit more so you can kind of see it starting to really come together now. Those look nice. I haven't done one of these images in a while, and I only did one last month, and I forgot how much I really love these. These are so relaxing. I usually do these while my son is upstairs with me, and he has some Just Add Water books, and so he does his book, and Mommy does her book. But lately he has been wanting to like just color with markers and not do the water books. And so we've been doing a lot more of actual marker work and coloring. So it's kind of nice to return back to this because this is really, really relaxing. Let's keep going. 15, double images in books or having one copy in each book. I found this really interesting from a lot of people that I was listening to this tag to. The vast majority of people agree, which is just one image in each book. I think it's kind of wasteful to have 2 images in each book. I don't really get it, and I feel like it kind of falsely inflates the, I guess, look or feel that, the book, like, oh, this is a big book with a lot of images. Well, no, it's really the same image twice. I'm not quite sure why publishers got into that to begin with. But I don't think it's really necessary. Number 16, Johanna Basford or Kirby Rosanna's. Again, not really my jam with either. I do think that Johanna Basford, I do like her art style, but her books would just not be something that I would own. They're a little too detailed for me. Now, if Johanna Basford came out with a color by number book, I could be about that. But I don't think that's her jam either. So I would say Johanna Basford. Kirby Rosanna's is definitely not my style. So yeah, Johanna Basford. The next one is pastel backgrounds or acrylic paint backgrounds. This again is an area where I haven't really dabbled. However, I've had pastels on my wish list off and on. I go back and forth with them. I don't really like to I'm not a patient person. So with like acrylic paint, and I also don't like to be messy. So like acrylic paint and stuff like that scares me, just because I feel like the storage of that and just trying to make sure that my kids don't get into it and things is a whole scary process. The pastels are a bit less messy to me, but I'm also have kind of heard you need to use a fixative with them. And so I don't really want to be spraying fixative. I feel like that just turns me off to wanting to color because it's not just quick and easy. So what I'm actually looking into now is like distress inks, and whether or not that's a better solution. So I would say if I had to pick between the two, pastels are probably the only thing I've really kind of seriously thought about out of those two. Hannah Lynn or Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Honestly, I don't remember what Jasmine Beckett Griffith's books look like. Hannah Lynn, I actually do own one Hannah Lynn book, and I do like her style. So I would definitely say Hannah Lynn. I do like Hannah Lynn's art style. Again, that's just kind of like line art. So there's, I think out of the one Hannah Lynn book that I own, I've only colored 2 images out of the book. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. Again, it's not color by number, so it's not my go-to, but I do like her art style. Number 19, ordering from Amazon or eBay. I order a ton off of Amazon. It's almost sickening. I'm to the point too where it's like, am I going to go to the grocery store in a couple of days? Probably not. Okay, well then let me just order, whatever snack or random thing, box of Kleenex, Q-tips or something. I just order them straight from Amazon because I just don't feel like picking them up at the grocery store. Yeah, and there's not a lot of coloring supplies or anything I get off of Etsy. All of the books that I can order usually I get from Amazon. Number 20, glitter gel pens or stickles. My preference would be glitter gel pens. I don't own any stickles. They look beautiful, and I probably will own some in the future. But again, I'm an extremely impatient colorist. And so when I am done with a page, I like to just close my book and just be done. And so with stickles, I know you kind of have to wait for them to dry. And what I also don't like about stickles is the, I guess like the gritty feeling it leaves on your page. I like just being able to run my hand, down the page and going like, ooh, so smooth. Like there's just something about that I like. So I'm going to have to say glitter gel pen. Hardcover or soft cover books. I don't know that I necessarily have a preference, but I don't own any hardcover coloring books, just because those are the ones, like I said, that are kind of the fancier books. So, I mean, I guess it would be nice to have some hardcover books, but I also feel like it might be harder to manipulate the backs of the books, when you're trying to color pages and move stuff around and stuff. So I don't know. Actually, now that I think about that, I think I would probably change my mind and say soft cover books. Next is going to be simple pages or intricate pages. Well, if you've learned anything in this, how many minutes have we been together? 29 minutes. You will learn that simple is the way to go for me. I don't have time to spend a lot of time in intricate pages, and I am a little bit of a completionist. I like to complete things, and I like to complete them quickly. If I have a coloring page that I'm leaving overnight till the next day, like if I'm even halfway done with it, it drives me nuts. I will stay up late and torture myself just to finish a coloring page. It's just one of those things in my mind, like I just have to complete it. And then the last thing is Christmas pages or Halloween pages. I would definitely say Christmas pages. Christmas is just such a magical time of year. And so I feel like it's a lot of, it's just a lot of fun. I love the Christmas colors. I love everything about Christmas and the Christmas lights. So Christmas is definitely going to be my favorite. Well, this worked out just absolutely perfectly. So I have finished this page. So I hope you like it. I love how this page turned out. I love these because you just don't quite know what the colors are going to be, and it's a little bit of a mystery. So this book is really, really fun. So thank you guys for joining me for the this and that coloring tag. I want to thank DaniButtons for tagging me. Oh, and I had a major struggle trying to find people to tag because it appears that pretty much everybody on ColorTube has already done this tag. So I did find 2 people I don't think have done it yet. First is Michelle Kits and Caboodles. She is my new like hilarious go-to person on YouTube. She's hysterical. I love her to death. And so you are tagged, Michelle, for this tag, as well as Emelie from Color Me Impressed. I am tagging you as well if you have not already been tagged. And then thirdly, I'm tagging any other color tuber that hasn't been tagged yet because it seems like most people have done it, but if you haven't, I encourage you to do it. These tags are a lot of fun. But thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.